everyone, especially to you, Mrs. Reyes. I am Carol Angel Montisayo from grade 12 ABM 2, Group 2. Today, I will be discussing the definition of data analysis and qualitative research. I know a lot of you here already know about data analysis and qualitative research because we've already done qualitative research before. So in Module 2, it stated that according to Lee, Comte, and Chen-Sul, research data analysis is a process used by researchers for reducing data to a story and interpreting it to derive insights. The data analysis process helps in reducing a large chunk of data into smaller fragments, which makes sense. So, before I'll explain the statement above, I just want to share my knowledge about data analysis and qualitative research. So, ang data analysis is makita na siya sa chapter 4. After gathering data, ara na mag-start og himo og data analysis. Kay ang first man jud ana, di ba? Ang una jud atong buhaton is mag-analyze ta og data. Nya after analyzing, ara na din ang interpretation of result para ma-present nato ang final findings based sa atong na-gather nga data. Nya ara sa data analysis, makita nimo ang mga questions o tubag sa mga respondents based sa question and ara sa ka maka-formulate og themes. So, example in our research before, naa siya data item. Nya sa data item na ara ang question number 1. Nya sa table anang question number 1, makita ang tubag sa mga respondent. And sa second column, naara ang mga themes nga amo ang gikuha based sa tubag sa respondent. Pero ang main point rato. But for now, dili lang kayo nakutas-on ang discussion kay ma-discuss ni siya sa group 4 and sila na ang muhatag example and mo further elaborate ani nga topic. However, there are 3 essential things take place during the data analysis process. The first is data organization. Data organization is the practice of categorizing and classifying data to make it more usable. So, mo to ko gingon ganina nga, ang imong na-gather na data, ara nimo i-categorize or i-classify ang mga main point or ang mga usable information nga imong na-gather in order for you to effectively determine the cause of the problems. And the second one is data reduction. Summarization and categorization together contribute to becoming the second known method used for data reduction. It helps in finding patterns and themes in the data for easy identification and linking. So, from the word, it helps finding patterns and theme in the data for easy identification and linking. Understandable naman, di ba? Kay in making themes, dili jud na nimo pwede nga tanan tubag sa inyong participants mao sad ang inyong theme, mao sad inyo ibutang sa theme. Dapat sa pagbuhat og theme, dapat mag-base lagi ka sa tubag sa respondent, but di nimo pa ang tanan. But i-discuss siya sa group 4 so ang pag-make, so ato lang mo magkuha og more information. Third and the last essential way is data analysis. Researchers do it in both top to down or bottom to up fashion. Sa kaninga part, ako na na-discuss a while ago. Dili lang ako ibalik discuss tanan para dili ma-redundant. Pero maghatag lang ko overview ani. Diba, nag-gather man og data. So, ang katong findings based sa nag-gather nga data, we call it mass of collected data. Ang kana nga data, i-convert na nato into more useful information nga may use sa researcher as valid and reliable information as well as in order siya. Furthermore, according to Marshall and Rossman, on the other hand, describe data analysis as a messy, ambiguous, and time-consuming, but a creative and fascinating process through which a mass of collected data is being brought to order, structure, and meaning. So again, sa akong gisulti ganina, last na akong gisulti ganina, relate ra siya ani. So, tinuod jud lisod jud ang data analysis niya. It takes time jud kay mag-interview pa mo, mag-transcribe pa, daghang pagbuhaton. Bisag duha ra na sila kabuhatonon, dali ra hunahon pero lisod buhaton. Mao man jud na ang mga mindset sa Pilipino. So dili man ta ka himog data analysis if di ta ka gather og data, diba? So maguna jud ta sa primary step. Kay dili pwede mo labang sa next step kay maguba na ang flow sa research ana. And it's also stated here nga time-consuming but a creative and fascinating process through which a mass of collected data is being brought to order, structure, and meaning. So, dili libog ato data ana kay in order na mas masabtan na sa reader ang atong research o dili na libog kay organize na ang pagkabutang sa atong information sa atong research study.
Why do we need to analyze data in research? Data analysis is a critical component in making a research. It allows researchers to make sense of the data that they have collected and to draw meaningful conclusions. And researchers rely heavily on the data as they have story to tell and problem to solve. The process of analyzing the data, it starts with a question. And the data is nothing but an answer to that question. If you're wondering if there is no question to ask, well, it's not impossible because there is what we call data mining. Data mining can be used to explore even without a specific questions or even a problem to solve. This approach is sometimes called exploratory data analysis, which involves the data mining techniques to identify patterns, relationships, and trends that may be significant. As a researcher, you must stay open and remain unbiased in analyzing the data for you to find the pattern that shaped to the story that you really want to tell. As a researcher, again, dapat mo-rely jud ka sa data nga imong mga nag-gather and you must enjoy the journey of exploratory research. Every kind of data manggod has a unique quality of describing things. Kaysa analysis, dapat ma-organize nimo iyang values, process, o present in a given context. So overall, researchers should analyze data carefully and systematically using appropriate methods and clear language. Their words report their findings in a transparent and accurate manner. Analyzing the data is really a need in making a research. Without analyzing the data, your research would not be reliable. By simply collecting the data is not enough, but a researcher, you need to analyze first the data that you have collected in order to make an accurate and meaningful conclusion of your research. You know that qualitative research is a study that cannot be quantified. So, in qualitative research, we analyze data through qualitatively, which consists of descriptive information such as images, words, and observation. This type of data is subjective and kind of more challenging compared to quantitative data. Anong mas lisod man ang qualitative data compared to quantitative data in making an analysis? It is because sa qualitative data, a researcher requires to use different techniques such as coding, categorizing, thematic analysis, ug daghan pa para ma-identify ang patterns and themes nga imong na-collect sa kana nga data gathering. However, qualitative data can also provide rich and detailed information that can be used to understand complex phenomena and to explore new research questions.
Example: quality data represents everything describing taste, experience, texture, or an opinion that is considered quality data. This type of data is usually collected through focus groups, personal interviews, or using open-ended questions in surveys. Data quality refers to fitness for purpose, characterized by information that is accurate, complete, reliable, relevant, and timely. For example, sa study karon, it's all about the secret of running a bakery business. Based sa title, it's more on experiences sa mga owner or staff in running a bakery business. So, we are more focused on using open-ended questions, and it contains opinions sa mga bakery owner or staff. And when it comes to gathering information, we are focusing on gathering accurate, reliable, and relevant information that could help the reader or the future researcher.
Data analysis in qualitative research. Data analysis and qualitative research work a little differently from numerical data. As a quality data is made up of words, descriptions, image, objects, and sometimes symbols. Getting insight from such complicated information is a complicated process. It is typically used for exploratory research and data analysis. We already know that qualitative data research and quantitative data research is different. In quantitative research, it's more on numbers, while the qualitative data research is more on symbols, image, and text or words or descriptions. These are the terms used in qualitative data analysis: theory, themes, characteristic, coding, coding sorts, and indexing. First, theory. Theory provides focuses in your study. It gives a new insight or ways of understanding of an issue of your study. Next is themes. Themes idea categories that emerge by the researchers from their participants in doing their qualitative data research. For example, in customer service, themes is greeting. Next is characteristic. Characteristic is interpretation based in descriptive and relating to the language. It helps us to understand why or how, what happened behind a certain behaviors. Coding. This is a process of attaching labels sa mga researchers sa mga lines of text na gikan silang participants so that they can compare similar or related pieces of information nga ilang nakuha sa ilang mga participants. So, next is coding sort. Diri i-compile na sa mga researchers ang ilang mga gipang similar nga mga text na nakuha nila sa different sources or ilang participants, then ilang i-file or i-report. The last term used in qualitative data analysis is indexing. Typically, indexing by cutting, pasting, that is selecting section of data on like or related themes and putting them together.
There are 5 principles of qualitative data analysis. The first is people differ in their experience and understanding of reality. So, we all know nga ang qualitative research uses textual data as well as based siya sa mga experiences. So again, an example of this is our research nga gi-conduct karon. So nag-base kami sa experiences sa mga bakery owner or staff on how they run a bakery business, which is relate siya sa first principle. The second principle is a social phenomenon can be understood outside its own context. So from the word context ban, pinag-ban ra jud siya sa context sa iyong study. For example, based on study, ang context is experiences. So, na-learn ako ang mga experiences sa mga bakery owner or staff, such as ilang mga challenges or mga strategies or techniques nga ilang gi-implement sa pagpadagan sa bakery business, ug na-observe sa nako ilahang character. The third principle is qualitative research can be used to describe phenomenon or generate theory grounded on data. So sa among study, we use phenomenology research design. Kaya phenomenology, it's more on exploring the views of those individuals nga naka-experience or naa na-experience ana nga yung gikonduct na study. It also stated here na or generate theory grounded on data. So as we all know, grounded theory is a strong inductive research method for discovering new theories. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, nga based sa gingon ni Ma'am Reyes, ang grounded theory ang mas dugay buhaton kay it's time consuming. Kay mag-discover pa man mo sa mga theories ana, and then ang phenomenological ang pinakadali ra nga buhaton kay it's more on exploring the experiences man. So most of to sa mga study karon it's more on experiences. The fourth one is understanding human behavior emerges slowly and non-linear. So for me, akong own definition sa human behavior is often unpredictable and inconsistent. Kaya ang mga tao may behave differently in different situations or contexts, making it difficult to generalize about their behavior. So, one of the reasons kung anong ang mga behavior sa ubang tao is usab-usab or dili masabtan is because people may have conflicting motivations or desires that lead them to act in ways that are difficult to understand. So, ang pagsabot sa human behavior jud is a slow and linear process nga nag-require of patience, empathy, and an open mind. So, dapat, as a researcher, we need to strive to understand their behavior more deeply para mas mapadali ang process sa atong study. The last principle is, exceptional cases may yield insights into a problem or new idea for further inquiry. Yes, it's true. Kaya ang exceptional cases magnify relational patterns that in more mundane context lack visibility. Ang mundane context kay mauna siya ang not interesting or not exciting context. So from the word nga, in a more mundane context, it can really yield insights into a new problem or new idea for further inquiry. Kay ang mga not interesting or ibutang tala mga unnecessary things kay dili siya visible, so makita nyo siya sa inyong studies and it can lead to a problem sa inyong research study.
There are 8 features of qualitative data analysis. First is the circular and non-linear. It is the way you move back and forth in the data analysis and data collection. Second is iterative and progressive. As the feature itself, this feature is a matter of process. The third one is the close interaction with the data. Here, you need to read and rereading the data that you have gathered to draw and to identify patterns carefully. The fourth feature is the data collection and analysis is simultaneous. It is where there is adjustment in the collection strategies based on the emerging themes. The next feature is the level of analysis. This feature depends on the research question and how it analyzed. Next feature is the uses of infection, like that was good. This feature means that how the paying attention of how the people express themselves. Next feature can be sorted in many ways, like using themes, categories, or relationships. Last feature is the qualitative data itself has meanings. So it means na everything that has gathered, everything that has been described, everything that has been analyzed has its own meaning. All in all, qualitative data analysis is essential for researchers who are seeking to gain a rich and understanding a deep complex of phenomena, and also it should be considered one of the most important tools in the research and analysis.
So now, let's proceed to the process of qualitative data analysis. So the step 1 is to organize the data. So, ang unang mabuhaton dira is to transcribe the data. Since nag-gather na mga data, dayon qualitative man ang imong gigamit nga data instrument is ang interview. So, na-jud kay kanang mga responses gikan sa mga participants na imong na-interview. So, ang kanang mga responses nila, imo na siya i-transcribe word by word para makita nimo ang ilang mga kalahian para maka-coding ka dayon then makakuha og themes. So, dili man tanan nga kanang pag-transcribe dali ra. So nas ni mga software nga pwede nimo gamiton para mas dali ka maka-transcribe ug maka-save kag match kanang time para mag-transcribe. Ang example ani is ang hyper-transcribe nga software. Then next is after ka mag-transcribe kay imo na i-translate ang data. So inigka-translate nimo ang data kay for example, like Visayan ang language nga gigamit sa participants ninyo sa pagtubag sa inyong mga interview questions. And then, imo na siya i-translate ang kanang data into English para mas ma-convey accurately ang mga tubag sa inyong mga participants. And then dili man na dali-dali sad ma-translate ang accurately ang inyong mga kanang tubag sa inyong participants. Nasa na mga software nga kanang pwede nimo gamiton para mas dali o mas accurately ninyo ma-translate ang tubag sa inyong mga participants. So example sa software is ang software nga Sistran. And then next is data cleaning. So data cleaning is kanang mga data ninyo na madyot mga error or like na ganing mga kuwang or like mga sobraan sad. So pwede na ninyo gamiton ang kanang data cleaning nga kanang inyong tangtangon ninyo ang error o mas tarungon ninyo kuan ang inyong data para mas dali siya masabtan. And then next is label the data. So ang kanang label the data kay mag-label kasi inyong data like inyong i-categorize every kanang data na inyong na-collect para mas dali siya ma-structure next. Kaya kung mag-structure ka na, makabalo na kaasa ni siya ibutang, diri ba, or dara ba. And then next, after nyo ma-structure to inyong data, syempre, ma-familiarize na nimo kung asa na siya gikan, asa na siya dapat gibutang, o asa na siya, unsa na siya, o kanang mauna na, masabtan na nimo siya, ma-familiarize na nimo. So, next step is to identify a framework. So, ang first nimo buhaton para maka-identify kasi mo framework is to read lang jud. Imong basaon tayo mong data para mas makasabot ka kung sa about ang kanang data nga inyong nag-gather dayon sa pag-identify sa framework. Ang kanang pag-identify nimo sa framework kay kailangan mag-explain na. So, para maka-explain ka dapat kanang mag-base ka sa imong kanang SOP ninyo sa inyong study. Kaya mag-base ang SOP is kanang where man na siya guide para maka-explain or himo ka sa inyong framework para mas masabtan ug tarong ang inyong framework. And then ang kanang framework ning igahuman ninyo identify, di ba? Ka-identify na ka, maka-explain na ka, dayon nag-base na kasi mga SOP, maka-structure na ka, maka-form na kasi inyong framework, and then maka-label na ka kung unsa ang naadira, and then ma-define na sa to ninyo ang data nga inyong nag-gather. So, ang framework kay kung ano na siya, more na siya summary sa inyong data, like nana siya tanang dira kung unsa about ang inyong study nga gi-conduct, and then design na siya as kanang coding plan. Kaya ang coding plan kay gipakita man dira kung giunsa nila pag-organize o pag-label ang ilang mga qualitative data nga nag-gather para maka-identify sila o maka-form sila sa kanang mga themes nga gikan sa data nga ilang na gather. Sa step 3 is to sort data into framework. So, imong una buhaton dali is code the data. So, ang coding ko na kanang mag-organize, mag-label ka sa quantitative data para maka-form ka og mga emergent themes. Na after ka mag-code kay kailangan man ka mo modify sa inyong framework. So, ang modify, kailangan ka maghimo og changes kung unsa tong nasa inyong framework. Kanang changes nga maka-improve kung unsa to ang nasa inyong framework. So, after nimo modify sa changes kay kanang pwede na ka kung gusto ka mo gamit sa computer packages, if gusto ka mo gamit sa kay imong magkuhan kag data entry, imo to i-enter ang imong mga data dito sa computer packages para kuhan ka accurately sort ang imong data para kay complicated man na kung ikaw ra. Kung gusto kag ng mas dali, pwede nimo siya gamiton nga way sa pag-sort out sa imong data.
Step number 4, use framework in descriptive analysis. Since naka-sort out naman ka sa imong framework, you can use the framework para makahimo ka sa descriptive analysis. So, descriptive analysis, it's about kanang i-categorize or arrange nimo imong mga
categorize mo katong mga responses sa imong participants. So, human mo og kanang sort out, human mo og kanang arrange o range anang asa na siya dapita nga category, maka-identify na ka sa recurrent theme. So recurrent meaning kanang repeated or reoccurring nga kanang themes or ideas, categories nga may emerge sa imong studies. So if kanang imong study is exploratory research, you can stop nga during nga step number 4. But if not, you can proceed to step number 5. Step number 5, second order analysis. So second order analysis meaning niya kay mag-use ka og existing data para maka-answer ka sa research question, current research questions nimo. Pero different ni siya sa katong mga previous questions sa katong previous nga studies. So within this kanang step kay na ay identify the recurrent themes. So kabaw man taan yun sa pag-identify sa mga themes, no, mo na yung katong mga ideas or categories nga ma-emerge sa imong studies, nga repeated nga mo emerge sa imong studies, or mga words or themes nga kanang makita nimo nga present sa katong responses sa katong imong every kanang respondents nimo or participants. Next is to notice the pattern. So mag-notice ka sa pattern nga kanang repeated or recurrent nga pattern nga makita nimo sa imong kanang themes. Diba? Naman dyan yung mga patterns nga, naman dyan yung mga themes nga kanang recognizable siya in a way. So mo nang mga pattern nga dapat nimo i-notice or i-take down. Okay nya. Sunod is identify respondents cluster. So sa pagbuhat ani, you need to search for causality. Causality meaning kanang relationship between cause and effects. Nya, so dapat makita na nimo sa within sa responses sa imong mga participants. Sunod, maka-identify ka sa kanang mga related themes. So di ba kabautan sa imong sa themes. Ang katong mga themes nga imong nakitaan kay dapat kanang related na siya or kanang murag relevant na siya sa imong studies. Then the next is to build sequence of events. So sequence meaning kanang arrangement of events, diba? Like kanang i-arrange mo from start to finish. So start to end, I think. Start to end. Nya dayon imo nang ikuan kung mao ni siyang kinahanglan na itabo nya sunod dire nya sunod kani. Imo na i-sequence og tarong. Nya sunod is to search data to answer research questions. So, di ba, nakaka-gather naman kag mga themes. Ang katong mga nag-gather nga themes nimo, mag-search ka dito kung asa dito ang naka-answer sa imong research question or SOP. Next is to develop hypothesis and test. So, since, di ba, naka-answer naman ka sa imong katong SOP, maka-develop na ka og new hypothesis nga pwede nimo kanang i-present or i-show as new kanang knowledge or data nga na imong na-gather throughout sa imong pag-gather sa imong data.
So there are 4 types of qualitative analysis: the content analysis, the narrative analysis, the discourse analysis, and the framework analysis. So the first one is the content analysis. So content analysis is the procedure for the categorization of verbal and behavioral data for the purpose of summarization, classification, and tabulation. So, content analysis is used for categorizing verbal and behavioral data to summarize, classify, and tabulate the data. It is also used to analyze the presence, meanings, and relationships such of certain words, themes, and concepts. The context can also be analyzed on 2 levels: the descriptive and the interpretative. In the descriptive, what is the data, and in the interpretative, what was meant by the data. Narrative or transcribed experiences. Every interview or observation has narrative aspect the researcher has to sort out and reflect upon them, enhance them, and present them in a revised shape to the reader. The core activity in narrative analysis is to reformulate stories presented by people in different contexts and based on different experiences. So the next one is the narrative analysis. It is all about transcribed experiences. So every interview researcher has to be a narrative aspect to reflect the experiences of the interviewee for them to enhance their way of delivering questions, for the interviewee to understand properly. The main aim of narrative analysis is to reformulate or make against stories about other people's experiences based on their findings and on what they have analyzed, and also to highlight important aspects of their stories that will best resonate the readers. So, kaning narrative analysis, usually gamiton jud ni siya sa interviews.
Discourse analysis is a method of analyzing a naturally occurring talk, spoken interaction, and all types of written text. It's used to analyze interaction with people. However, it focuses on analyzing the social context in which the communication between the researcher and the respondent occurred. You make interpretation based on both the details of the material itself and on contextual knowledge. Focus on ordinary people method of producing and making sense of everyday social life. How language is used in everyday situation. To understand how language is used in everyday, in real life situations. Sometimes people express themselves in a simple and straightforward way. Panagsa ang tao kay express silang self sa simple at prangka na paraan. Sometimes people express themselves vaguely and indirectly. Panagsa ang tao kay nagpahayag silang sarili sa malabo at sa diretso. And analyze must refer to the context when interpreting the message, as the same phenomenon can be described in a number of different ways depending on context. Framework analysis is a qualitative research method that involves organizing and analyzing data using a predefined analytical. The framework provides a structured approach to data analysis and can help to identify patterns, themes, relationships in the data. Familiarization, transcribing and reading the data. Transcribe and familiarize yourself with the data. Read through the data several times and take notes to identify any patterns, themes, or issues that are emerging. Identify a thematic framework, initial coding framework, which is developed both from prior issues and from emergent issues. Identify a coding framework or set of themes that will be used to analyze the data. These themes can be derived from existing literature or theories, or developed based on the data itself. Coding, using numerical or textual codes to identify a specific piece of data which correspond to different themes. Code the data by identifying key themes or categories and assigning each piece of information to a specific theme or category. Charting. Charts created using headings from thematic framework can be thematic or by case. Create charts or tables that display the frequency and distribution of each theme or category. This helps to summarize data and identify patterns. And lastly, mapping and interpretation. Searching for patterns, associations, concepts, and explanations in the data. Analyze the data to identify patterns, relationships, and themes. Interpret the findings in light of the research objectives and provide explanations for any significant patterns or themes that have emerged. Those are the steps in framework analysis.